Thank you for finding some time for yourself. And if you could take a few relaxing breaths, breathing in and breathing out. And I'm curious to know, as you're breathing in and breathing out, if you can feel the air, if you can feel the air on your top lip as you exhale. And I'm wondering if while you're lying there, breathing in and breathing out, if you're mindful of your eyelids, the light on the inside of your eyes, that's right. And you can be soothed by the light, learning about the light. And I wonder if you can feel or be aware of the pillow behind your head. And perhaps it's the right side of you, or the left side of you. That's found comfort in your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Because there is freedom in your breath, the freedom of being closed to being open, and breathing in to being closed, your lips closed, eyes closed, and your mind closed. Breathing in and breathing out, just as you are. And I want you to imagine a whiteboard in front of you now. And I want you to write the number 10 on the whiteboard in your imagination. That's right, a big number 10. And I want you to wipe it off as you exhale. Write the number 9, breathing in. And wipe it off as you exhale, number 8, breathing in. Number 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I wonder if you can count backwards in your mind now, hearing your silent voice in your mind. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And perhaps you've noticed in front of you now, there is a magnificent staircase going down. And I want you to gracefully, comfortably walk down those 10 steps, feeling every step on the soles of your feet. 10, walking down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when you arrive, you notice a doorway. Go on and walk through the doorway. And there's a beautiful couch. You can go and throw yourself on that couch in a comfortable way, in your casual manner. That's right, go and get really comfortable on that lovely couch. And you can wriggle there, you can find stillness there. And isn't it comforting to know that you can find this couch whenever you choose? And I'm not sure you're aware how unique you are. No one else has your DNA, your experiences, strengths or weaknesses. And I want you to imagine perhaps you're floating out of your body, looking at yourself at that magnificent couch. As though you were your best friend. I wonder what kind words you would say to yourself, because it might have been the right side of you that made the choice to listen, or wanted to discover something new, reconnect. And here you are, here and now. That's right. Breathing in and breathing out, just as you are. Because a moment ago, maybe you felt like you weren't enough. You weren't in control of your weight. Or in the past, the weight has crept up on you. And you definitely don't want any health problems. Or maybe you've felt out of control. But it's got nothing to do with you. It's just a process of how you've been going about it. Because how do you decide what's normal or abnormal consumption of food or exercise? What you can and can't control? What thoughts are valid and what thoughts are not to be validated? And when is it compulsion or consumption? Breathing in and breathing out. And I'm going to share with you a few stories from a book titled 101 Healing Stories. And at first you might think, why am I sharing these stories with you? But you will find them of value a little later on. And a group of women had gathered to celebrate a forthcoming marriage of a friend. And during the evening, the bride asked one of her single friends, "How is it you've never married? Have you never found the right guy?" "Oh yes," she said, "I found the right man, all right." "And what happened? Why didn't you marry him?" inquired the bride-to-be. "It's like this," said the friend. "I knew exactly what I was looking for. He had to be the perfect man. I had a checklist of all the qualities I wanted in a guy. And I set out to travel the world to find him. He had to be just right." The bride asked, "Well, what happened?" "I started searching New York," said the friend. "I found a very wealthy man. He was generous with his money, but he was withdrawn and introverted and unsociable. I knocked him off the list right away. And I travelled on to Los Angeles, searching every place between New York and the West Coast. And in LA, I found a man who was not only rich, but also fun-loving, happy, outgoing. He had affluence and all the social qualities I could ever expect from a guy. The unfortunate thing was, he wasn't very handsome. And I kept thinking, if we marry, I have to wake up beside that. And not a handsome face every morning. So he wasn't Mr. Right either. And in Sydney, Australia, I felt I was starting to get close there. I came across a guy who had independent means. He was friendly, outgoing, and stunningly handsome. He was tall, blonde, muscular. He was a surfer. He worked out at the gym regularly, and he had the body of a pin-up model. But with all the men I met, there always seemed to be an unacceptable downside. And with him it was his arrogant male attitude. He was chauvinistic. So I travelled on to Europe, and in London I met a man who was rich, outgoing, handsome, liberated in his new ideas about women. This was getting really close. At first I thought I finally found him. He didn't have the romance or sensuality that I was looking for. It's nice to have a guy who will cook and do all the dishes. but I guess I wanted the roses and moonlight picnic treatment as well. And I travelled out across the Channel to Paris. I found him. You know what they say about the French? Well, he had it all. He was wealthy, friendly, handsome, liberated and very sensual. He got a top rating on every item on my checklist. And there was no question he was the perfect man. Then explain, said the curious bride-to-be. Why don't you marry him? A simple reason. He was looking for the perfect woman. And I had read an interview written by a well-known wine connoisseur, and he recalled visiting a winery once, being fascinated by the different ways people would approach drinking wine. At one table they looked like they were in for several hours solid drinking. There were bottles lined up on their table, some already empty. The boisterous, loud group drank like students sculling beer. And as he watched, the minibus arrived with people from a different wine club. They carried a couple of stainless steel buckets and some bottles of chilled water. They brought their own glasses rather than the winery's disposable plastic ones. They held their glasses to the light and engaged in in-depth conversation about the colour of the wine. And only when they fully exhausted that sensory experience did they move on to smelling the fruity wine. And when it would reach their palates, it was swirled in their mouths and expelled into one of the stainless steel buckets. The group members cleansed their glasses and their palates with water before they approached the next. And one couple at the bar sat between these two groups. They looked at their glasses to explore the colour of the wine, but without stepping into the sunlight. They smelled its fruitiness with a few words of appreciation. They allowed the wine to linger on their palates and then swallow. And what fascinated the wine connoisseur was how the three groups approached this one's situation so differently. And the wine connoisseur did some calculations, and he could only expect to drink another 8,000 bottles of wine, eat another 2,500 steaks, and make love another 5,000 times during his lifetime. And with that being the case, he decided he deserved the best every time. And now I want to talk, not to the dieting side of you. I want to talk to the pigging outside of you. I want you to imagine yourself really overweight. I want you to know what that smells like. Really smell it. And once you know what the pigging outside of you, really overweight, smells like and feels like, I want you to ask that side of you if it's willing to communicate with me right now, or if that side of you has ever had a benefit to being that way. Perhaps it was protecting you while you were trying to be the best family member or parent, child, the best in your career, needing food on the run. Perhaps you were trying to be the best partner, or whatever it was. That pigging outside of you, was there a benefit to that side of you? Was it trying to help you? And I want you to think of all the successful things that pigging outside of you did, that got you there to smell that way and feel that way. Now, I don't know if you were waking up to piles of chicken bones after having a late night feast. Or perhaps you were on the go and hadn't realised you hadn't eaten fruit or vegetables for a few days. And I wonder what all the successful strategies were that pigging outside of you used. And I want to ask that side of you, knowing you had a good intention, to come up with some other choices it could make, but not just any choices. They need to be very clever, easier and faster choices than you've made in the past. And I want you to think of all the different things you could do. Perhaps plan the week a bit better. Dedicate a couple of hours to meal preparation at the start or end of the week. All the faster and easier choices. Because ideally, the scenario would be you get to go on a lovely holiday and eat healthy on a health retreat. But it's much easier to eat chocolate cake than book a holiday, especially with the world being so weird at the moment. So I want you to think of all the great choices. And perhaps you should know my boyfriend is a nutritionist. So I ask him what he tells his clients. And he says he likes them to really acknowledge their plate of food. And it should almost look like a rainbow full of different colours. And for them to eat until they feel full. But in fact, your body will feel full. once you've eaten to about 80%. But unless you slow down the eating process, you just won't be able to gauge that. So perhaps looking at the food in the light, smell it, taste it, share it, enjoy it. But there are easier, faster choices for you. And if you want to make a career change, what are all the other things you could do? That's right. All those other choices that are easier, faster choices. And I want you to imagine the next time you have a craving. I want you to test it. The next time you're overwhelmed, an overwhelming craving. I'm curious to know what other sensations you choose to explore. Perhaps noticing sounds, noticing your heartbeat, the rhythm of your breath. And I want you to know this new side of you can be tested. And you eat a chocolate biscuit, a chocolate cookie. I bet you could stop after one. That's right. And now I want to speak to the dieting side of you. That's right. And I want you to think of all the great things you did to get there. And I don't know if it was you chose not to catch up with friends or family because you wanted to stick to your diet. Or perhaps you would ask people to make you special meals. Or maybe you were so strict with yourself that you just forgot to sit down and play with your children, or the dog, or call a friend. Or perhaps it was years ago. And I want you to successfully acknowledge all of those great things that dieting side of you did to get there. And I wonder if there was a good intention to make all of those choices. No, I don't know if it was so you'd feel more comfortable or not have so much pain exercising, or if it was you would feel more attractive on the outside, or perhaps on the inside. Or maybe it was so you could always wear that pair of jeans you wanted to wear, that lovely suit or dress. Or maybe you wanted your friends and family to be proud of you. And I want you to think of whatever it was, that there was a positive intention behind it. And now I want you to ask that side of you, are there any easier, faster choices that could help you get there instead? And I don't know if you could be more relaxed or always feel full of love. Dream about your career more often rather than dream about a sandwich or milkshake or whatever it is. Or perhaps you'll choose to read a book. And now I want to ask the picking outside of yourself and the dieting side of yourself to acknowledge they both have had a positive intention. And can I ask both sides of them, both sides to realize they are just as important as each other, and it's okay that they can find a way to work together. That's right. Working together now, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, breathing in and breathing out. So the next time you have a craving to diet, a craving of extremism, a craving for a chocolate cookie, or 8 hours at the gym, I wonder if a sense of curiosity might come over you and how to get there in the future, what you might do differently. And I want you to imagine the future you. That's right, the future you standing in front of you. Perhaps it's 5 years from now, 10 years from now. In the future, I want you to imagine what you're wearing. I wonder what color your hair is, your hairstyle, if you're dressed formally or casually, exploring and traveling the world, lying on the beach. Or maybe you're a successful business owner and you've got it all. That's right. Now I want you to walk up behind the future you. And on the count of 3, I want you to step inside the future you. 1, get ready. Breathing in and breathing out. 2, ready. 3, step inside the future you. See what you see. Feel what you feel. Hear what you hear and know what you know. That's right. And isn't it wonderful being the future you? I wonder how you got there. I wonder what consistent choices you made, consuming every bit of your life, socially, morally, business decisions, food, exercise, quiet times, fun time. That's right. Indulge in the smells and sounds, tastes. Now I want you to imagine the kind of words you'll use when you talk to yourself. The kind and loving and forgiving. The full pleasure that you are enough. You are completely enough. And it completely consumes you when you're out there, socializing, meeting people. You're content. Feel that future you. Content when you're talking, listening, feeling, getting dressed, because you set yourself up to win today, every day. That internal voice that was once a nag, so distant away from beating yourself up. Maybe that old voice now sounds like a little cartoon character, twittering away in the background, where this is you now, the future you, here and now. And I just want to check that all parts of your body, mind and spirit accept this process. And you have discovered all the alternatives that are there. That's right. The healthy, consistently losing weight, gaining contentment, gaining the feeling that you are more than enough. That's right. I wonder if you know your next meal plan this week. Or perhaps you'll know what you're doing this week but not next. And I wonder if it's attainable and realistic and consistent as a lifestyle choice. Isn't it exciting what the rest of this week looks like? The rest of next week sounds like, feels like. Or eating until you're 80% full, slowing down and eating, so you're always full, you're always giving yourself the best. I wonder what a month looks like from now. Perhaps you've slipped up a few days, but you know you can stop at one chocolate cookie. and you're healthy, so you know you can skip days at the gym because the new, consistent you has already worked out all the things that you need to do. And you already know that if you're curious, curiosity is the best way to lead on to learning. And if you don't know, you can always ask someone. And isn't it lovely that you're happy and in control, content and consistent? So now you're on that couch. And when you're ready, I want you to stand up and walk through the doorway. And run up those stairs in front of you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And count from 10 to 1 in your mind. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Write the number 10 on the whiteboard. 10. Rub it off. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. That's right, opening your eyes, breathing deeper, wriggling fingers and toes, and you can really stretch out. Welcome back. And you can be a little kinder to yourself, okay? You're perfect, just as you are.